Hi all, I just want to show you how to run RAGGENIE source code. So you can just go to the GitHub URL, GitHub 0 slash RAGGENIE, and go to the code and download the zip or like git checkout, whatever your favorite, just do that. Once you have the source code, just go to the source code. You have two components here. One is like the app, which is the backend component, and the UI, which is the front end component. This is basically a Python application, and this is basically a UI component. You can just go to the readme, the readme which is clearly written how to run it. Go down, you can see here you need to first you need to have the python installed, then you need to install the requirement.txt file. So I'm just going here, I'm just running pip install -r requirement.txt. So I already have the requirement.txt file. All these packages will be installed. For me it was already installed, that's why it took only less time. It may take a bit longer time. Once that is done, if you prefer to use poetry, you can just continue with the poetry, but it does the same job. After that, you just need to run the application. To run the backend application, you need a config file. This config file stores the credentials for a chroma vector db thing. Later we will be including this to ui. For now we kept that as a yaml file. Next version we'll be having it as in the ui. So to have you this, you just need to create a config.yaml file, and you just need to run this command, right? So I already created that config.yaml file here. Nothing, just copy pasted the same content here, nothing else to do, and you just run the command. Once you run it, your backend application is running on this port. You can just verify that, just on, turn it on. So you can see the server is running, not found, because there is no url as such. Now you can run the front end, right? For that, I'm just opening a new terminal. Just keep the current terminal running, go to the new terminal, cd, go inside the ui. So if you go to the documentation again, you'll be able to see here there's a documentation to run the front end. So go inside the ui. Then what you have to do is like npm install, or you want to use yarn, use that. Just do the npm install, which will install all the packages. For me it is again already installed, so it was really quick. Then you need to set a white backend url. So this is the backend url where the application is running. So this white backend URL is not mandatory. Only this is required when you have a backend server running on a different server or a different machine, or like on a different port or something like that. By default, we have already configured it to use the default port of the backend, like which is localhost 8001, and I can now run it directly. So if you are using a custom port or something, just change that environment variable, right? Then I'll just copy this thing. Application is running now here. I can just go inside. I can see when I go to add plugin, if the plugins are properly being displayed, that means everything working fine. So if you want to see how use RAGGENIE from here, just check the README file. There's already a like RAGGENIE demo video. Just follow that video. Thank you.